Hello, I'm John Perry, and I'm joined by Representative Jim Runestad. Representative, nice to see you.
Good to see you, John.
Lots to talk about today. Here in Lansing, you've been working on a couple of issues, actually in committee this fall, dealing with parental alienation and joint custody. Clearly, for families in Michigan, these are important topics.
They are. There's two different topics there, but they're in some way related. The first has to do with parental alienation, and basically it is one parent alienating the children from the other parent, and it takes place primarily in a divorce situation. Frequently, when there's a huge imbalance, one person has a lot more time in order to alienate that child against the other parent. And we took a lot of testimony of just the devastating effects of that kind of activity. We heard from a man who underwent this when he was a child. At 8 years old, he basically was so alienated against his father that he ceased to have contact with him until he became an adult, got married, saw the same type of activity that was done to his father to his new wife, and recalled, oh, I've seen all this, and reached out to his father. They reconnected, but he was able to give a firsthand account as a child of what this is like. And it's just absolutely emotionally scarring and devastating for children. So we passed a resolution out of committee telling people to be aware of the harmful effects of parental alienation, and also educate the court systems and the entire situation where people can have an impact, psychologists, all of that, to be aware of this and to combat it.
The other issue you've been talking about revolves around joint custody. And looking at that, you were even telling the committee that if you go from county to county in Michigan, it is something of a, is it correct to say, a patchwork situation out there right now?
It is. A lot of the testimony related to what's called shared parenting. The current law is called the Child Custody Act, and we want to rename it the Michigan Shared Parenting Act, and really encourage that when two fit, loving, caring parents go through a divorce, that the starting point is a 50-50 arrangement, which can be rebutted if there is evidence of domestic violence, if one parent is unfit, they have mental health issues that make them where they can't parent properly, if they can't maintain a home. There's a lot of situations, a whole series of things that can undo the presumption. There's even a caveat in there that if the judge sees something that is not spelled out that could be harmful to the child, it would undo the presumption. But assuming that you have two fit, loving, caring parents, the starting point is here. A lot of the testimony related to statistics where the starting point is here. It generally goes to about an 85-25 arrangement where it's a winner-take-all scenario. It creates an adversarial nature in the court system, creates a ton of litigation. There's a lot of attorneys that deal with family court system that actually want that antagonism, want that adversarial nature, because it's financially more beneficial if there is antagonism going on within that family. Sometimes the families will reach out to their grandparents or aunts, uncles. All the money of the entire family on both sides gets poured into these battles, because for most people, more important than their home, their car, anything else, is their children. That's the most important. And to have a winner-take-all scenario, one person's going to get the vast majority, about 85% of the time with the children, the other about 15% of the time, is something that is not healthy in most cases. It's very devastating to the parent that gets cut out of that equation. So what we're looking for is a rebuttable presumption that we're going to start here, assuming that there's not an unfit parent we're talking about, but two loving, caring, fit parent. We're going to start here and work out some arrangement where they're going to have substantially equal amount of time with the kids. So we had a lot of testimony on that. We will have testimony further before the end of the year, and hopefully a vote and get this passed into law.
Finally, we've talked in the past here about Michigan and refugees. It's still a very timely topic if we just look at the headlines in recent days. Again, with the framework that you need to have something done by the end of the year. How does that situation look?
Well, it is all over the newspaper, refugees. We receive the highest percentage of refugees in the entire United States here in Michigan. Of all those in the last year, the highest percentage of all have went to Oakland County, Michigan. We just 2 weeks ago had a refugee that had active TB that wasn't caught. A large percentage of the refugees have latent TB. The health aspect of it is very important because we don't know exactly what kind of health screening they received before they came into the state of Michigan. They are required to receive health screening after they come to Michigan, but after they're here, sometimes they drift away and we don't get that done. There was a more percentage than you would expect that are escaping this health screening after they get here to the state of Michigan. We also need to know what is the cost to the local communities, to schools. If you have a bunch of students coming in from all over the country with all different languages, and you have to have English as a second language educators for each one of these, the cost can be devastating for local districts. So my bill is asking for data. You know, what kind of screening has been done before they came here health-wise? What are we doing? What percentage are getting retested once they're here? What are the number of students coming to a local district? When are they coming so that the schools can know how to anticipate those costs? Basically, all the data we're looking for, and we're asking the two organizations that do almost all of the refugee processing, and that's Lutheran and Catholic Social Services, to provide that data. The other bill has to do with vetting. It's asking the federal government to involve the state of Michigan in the vetting process so we know more about how are these refugees processed. So that's the crux of the bill. They are apparently, from what I understand, going to have a hearing before the end of the year, so we'll get a lot more information.
Okay. Representative, thank you very much.
Thank you, John.
And thank you for joining us.